Germans are actually friendly people. A lot of people don't believe that. But when it comes to business, for Germans, business is business. Yeah, we are not trying to make friends in that environment, unfortunately.
Welcome to our podcast, The Pommes Box. Today, we are having Jenny on our show. She is a German content creator and also a German teacher on italki. She helps students learn German and German culture in a simple and practical way.
Yes, she has a podcast also on Spotify, Learn German with Jen, and it is about the language, German language, life in Germany, and also everyday interesting topics. She has done around 245 episodes, and every Sunday she releases content for advanced speakers, and on Thursdays she releases content for beginners. I would say it is really helpful quality content. So you're really doing a great job, Jen.
So,
Thank you.
welcome, Jenny, to our podcast, and we are looking forward to have an interesting and informative conversation with you today.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
So, Jenny, as we mentioned, like you are doing or you're teaching German in different ways. Like you use podcasts, you use your content creation method, and also you teach on italki. So, different ways to teach German. So, we want to know what is that moment that strike you to teach German in, like, say, this particular way, and what sparked that feeling to teach German.
Yeah, of course. I just started as a regular teacher on italki, and my student always asked me for like, I don't know, like listening exercises, and I didn't really find anything very good on the internet, so I thought, why just not make it myself if I think I can do it better? And yeah, in the beginning, it was really just like some extra homework for my students. And now, after 2 years and after over 200 episodes, I realized that not only my students but even more people can learn from that.
Yeah, that's very true because I also face this in the language which I am teaching, and in fact, even I started to do it.
You focus a lot on listening activities, right? And you also dedicatedly have a Spotify podcast for listening. So, from your experience, like what does listening help people, or how does listening help people improve the language? Is it like the understanding, or pronunciation, or grammar? What do you think? Where do you think that it's most beneficial?
I mean, to begin with, everyone learns in a different way. Some people are visual learners, they need to see something in order to remember it. Others are, for example, audiovisual learners.
Hmm.
I still believe that anyone can benefit from listening to podcasts. The point is, you don't want to read a boring script, you want to talk as Germans talk. And I feel like in language classes, sometimes that's being a bit forgotten, and you learn like textbook German and not like the actual real life German. And I think that's where podcasts are very handy.
Yes. I mean, I think you also mentioned this right in your description that there are so many materials that lack this kind of normal talking scenarios. Yes, and I also remember one of my German friend, had mentioned almost daily podcast where like two people talk, so that you get a feeling of natural talking, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And do you think people should do active listening or passive listening on the podcast? When do you think they had to use?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that a lot. Ideally, you do active listening. That means you sit down, you read the transcript as you listen, you take notes. However, I realize not everyone has the time for that. So if you only have 5 to 10 minutes a day, passive learning is fine, but you can benefit a lot more if you actually, do it actively.
Yes. And good thing about Spotify is it shows the transcript also on the screen. I think it's auto-generated, right? It's not
Yeah.
something. Yes. So that's also helpful actually. Yeah. Rest is something that people have to do. Look up the words, things like that. For example, I had learned suddenly außergewöhnlich. in your podcast, and I was like,
Ah,
okay, what's this now? Then
nice.
it's
Yeah.
extraordinary,
Yeah.
things
Nice.
like
Big
that.
word. Yeah.
And Jenny, do you believe there is some techniques, or are there some techniques which can help you improve speaking at the same time while listening to the podcast?
How I use it personally, my students always have the homework to listen to one episode, and then after we talk about, what I talked about in the episode. If you don't have the opportunity or maybe not enough money for a private teacher, what I sometimes do, I will just talk to like a AI, and you can have conversations with them about certain topics. It's not the best, but it works.
Great.
Okay.
So,
Actually, I also remember suddenly there is a tool that I use. It's called Recall. So what happens is when you upload your podcast or you paste the podcast link, it gives you a summary, and people can also generate a quiz based on the podcast. So probably that's interesting, right? Because when you're creating a listening comprehension, when you have follow-up questions, then it tests how much that you have understood, or you need to re-listen a specific part. And it's not so easy for the teacher to always come up with the
with the
questions.
Yeah, that's a good technique. Thank you. I should use it for my classes. Thank you.
Jenny, we know that you have a chance to work with a lot of people. So you also teach on italki. So you come up with a lot of people who are Germans as well as international people. So in that case, I have a question which says, one unspoken German work culture that internationals don't realize in the beginning. Like it can be
Yeah.
simple, like we see that the Germans are very direct when it comes to work culture, and for internationals it's a difficult thing to digest. So do you have something like that?
Yes, I do. First of all, I want to say Germans are actually friendly people. A lot of people don't believe that. But when it comes to business, for Germans, business is business. Like, yeah, we are not trying to make friends in that environment. So whenever I watch a TV show, let's say from the United States, they always start their conversation, "Hey, what's going on? How are you? How was your week?" Germans don't have time for that. They're very efficient, and yeah, you're my business partner, and you're not my best friend, unfortunately.
Okay, so
Yes.
business is business.
And
Yeah.
I also seen that people keep their private life private. So that means I mean in India, if you like, even though in the office you get like very close and immediately exchange WhatsApp numbers or phone numbers, but I don't see that kind of thing happening here because nobody wants to exchange their numbers unless you're really close with them. That's a different story. But otherwise, yeah, it's also not polite to ask their WhatsApp number.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a friend, she's been working in an office for I think 2 years, maybe more, and she didn't know the first name of the person sitting next to her because she always calls them by their last name. And after 3 years, she was like, "Oh, his name is Mark," which surprised me a lot. Yeah. Hmm.
But yes, some things are like that, right? Culture is a
Yeah.
culture that we need to
Yeah.
respect and appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking German is very important. And when you speak in German, I have seen that you're more welcome, or I would say people open up because now you're talking in their native language. They also express back in their native language. That means they express more. And yes, because if you use English, then you are like restricted or you're pulled back, by expressing that kind of thoughts which you can say in your native language. So I've seen people are more friendly when you speak in their native language, and they also appreciate that you're also speaking German. So they see that you're putting effort, so they also feel really happy about it. So my question is like, what else other than speaking German language is necessary so that you are even more welcome to their German culture or their community?
Yes, I know some people who have been living in Germany for a long time and they are still struggling with making like meaningful relationships with Germans. I do think it's important to have at least one connection to a German person in order to really understand the culture better. Because sure, you might have some colleagues who are Germans, but if you're like actually cooking with a German person, watching a TV show, you get to understand the culture in ways that you really wouldn't if you are just like distanced from Germans, I think.
So you mean to say it's not only speaking, but also engaging with a activity, like you said, cooking, or maybe be part of a verein, right? Then doing things together. Yes.
100%. That's very necessary.
That's true, actually. A lot of people just speak language when they need, and they are literally not part of any clubs or any public activities, right, where they get an
Yeah,
opportunity to be with them. Yes.
definitely. Or they stay in their own community. They go to like clubs or gatherings, but just from people, from their own country, and it's not really beneficial.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's really that's not a good thing to always stick with your community because it's a safe zone. I understand, most comfortable zone, but if you need to learn the language and get better in Germany, I guess you always have to come out of that shell.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yes.
That's really thoughtful to say, come out of your shell and then participate with the people here.
Yeah, just don't be scared. Yeah.
So, Jen, in the next segment, what we have is like say it in German. So, we are trying to include some German learning also in our podcast. So, I want to ask there are things like we say when we don't understand, we have to ask people to repeat it once again for us, or maybe tell it a little slower for us. So, how do we do this naturally in German? Like, we do this like, we do know the textbook way of telling this and things, but how can we make this flow naturally during a conversation here?
Yeah, I actually have a little list for that. So I would start with like more formal ways.
Mm-hmm.
The first one and very basic, of course, is just wie bitte. That's very simple. After, it's also obvious, können Sie das bitte wiederholen?
Yes.
Or kannst du das bitte wiederholen?
Hmm.
And this one we love in Germany. Das habe ich akustisch nicht verstanden. Like I didn't understand this, like, acoustically, I guess, in English.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That
And
one I have not heard of.
yeah, we love to say that. Yeah. And then the one that I would say to my friends is, sorry, das war mir zu schnell.
Hmm.
Or, was hast du gesagt? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
That's nice. That's nice.
That's a good list.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I think the interesting one is das war mir zu schnell. Then
Yeah.
that's like instead of saying können Sie bitte langsam sprechen
Expression.
or right or langsam wiederholen. But I think better than that, this would be very much easier. Das war mir zu schnell.
Yeah. Very natural. Yeah.
Yes, it's easy to
Exactly.
say also.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good one.
Thank you.
Okay, that's nice. So now let's move to the rapid fire session from our podcast.
Yes. So the first one is a German song you never get tired listening to.
I think it's called Vermissen. I'm not sure. I think it's Juju is the singer. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
it's a love song.
Okay. Love song. Okay.
Mhm.
So it's not about missing Germany.
Not Germany, no.
Okay, good.
Okay.
So next one, your tip to help learners pronounce the umlaut in German correctly.
I would say is watching videos and carefully observing how Germans form their mouth. That is a very big help.
I had trouble saying, I don't know if I still say it correctly, but I had watched a lot of videos, a person explaining it slowly and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's not easy. Yeah.
But I think contextually they'll understand. But if you're like out of the blue saying something, some word, then suddenly they'll be like, way better.
Yeah.
Even I had tough time pronouncing this, and every time I used to pronounce this in every wrong possible way, and I'll ask him like, "Is this correct? Is this correct?"
I know it's not easy, and there's like three umlaute, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, the podcast that you would like to recommend to beginners, apart from your podcast, mention another.
to be honest, I don't really know a lot about other podcasts. What my students always tell me is easy German,
Hmm.
but I have not really in a long time checked out a lot of other podcasts, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
No
No
worries.
problem. Easy German is also a great one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So, what's that one German tradition you personally really enjoy?
Weihnachtsmärkte, Christmas markets. That is very unique to the German speaking world, like Austria, Switzerland. It's just when you're there, it's a feeling you can't really describe to someone who hasn't been to one, right?
Of course, I mean, Weihnachtsmärkte is brings a different feeling. Like the whole December month is a different
November,
feeling.
December.
Yes.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
forget about the winter and you focus on the festival.
Yeah, you just enjoy winter suddenly, yeah.
Okay. Which English word sounds cool in German? Like I have seen, like
Ah,
in conversation, Germans also use a lot of English
English
words to
words.
sound very cool, right? Sometimes. Do you use something
yeah.
like that?
Yeah, I would say people from like the generation Z, they use awkward a lot. Awkward. Das ist so awkward.
Oh, okay. Nice. Do you
Nice.
use it?
With my friends, I do. Yeah, to be honest.
Okay.
Okay, that's great.
Or I have also seen like we cool, right? They exactly use the same thing. Yeah.
And sometimes we even adjust the English word to the German. I can't think of an example now, but for example, das coole Mädchen. So we adjust it for the feminine.
Sometimes it's good, like, you don't know the word, you say it in English, thinking that it exists, but yeah, not every time you get
Exactly.
lucky.
Yeah. Sometimes in Berlin, always, because everyone speaks English there. But yeah.
So that was an end for our rapid fire. So next we have the Pommes question for today. Since our podcast is the Pommes box, yeah. So, but where do you think the pommes taste really best in Germany? So, for example, like in street food, or like during the festival time, the festival markets and things like that, or late night snack vibe at home.
Ah, that's a good question. Actually, for me, pommes taste the best inside of a kebab. You can buy your kebab with pommes inside. That's really good.
Interesting. Okay. So,
Good.
do
So,
you have any recommendation? Any particular place or something where we have to try that?
I'm from Frankfurt, and I would say the best kebab after Berlin definitely has to be in Frankfurt, right when you leave the Hauptwache station. That's where you get the best kebab and pommes. Yeah.
Okay.
okay.
That's good. That's good. Anyways,
Amazing.
once again, Jenny, thank you so much for coming to our podcast, and it was a very honor to have you here on our podcast.
Thank Perfect.
It's
Yeah.
really good,
Perfect.
nice working with you.
Yeah, thank you.